Hi, I'm Sarah and I'm going to be doing a couple of batches of baking today. Reason being, I got these babies. I got a 2 kg bag of Feijoas from Pack and Save for $2. Now the reason they were going so cheap is because they I don't know if you can see there, but they're pretty much, they're going off, you know, they won't last another day. First thing I'm going to make is a Feijoa loaf. I'm actually going to double this recipe because of the amount of Feijoas I've got. So first thing we want to do, we want 100 grams of butter. As always, I just use the cheap table spread, I substitute butter. Seriously, these scales, they have served me well throughout the years, but they're very approximate. I actually want 200 grams of margarine. So I'll use about half a cup of sugar, but for one loaf, of course I'm doubling it, so I'll put 1 cup of sugar in there. Then we just want to whaze that all up together. Well, it's nice and fluffy, kind of looks like scrambled eggs. Got no kids here, they'd be begging to lick these by now. I'm going to lick them later. How classy I am. I'm going to sift 1.5 cups of flour. Of course I'm doubling it, so I'm putting in 3 cups of flour. And although I said I was going to sift that, I didn't sift it. For no other reason than I just forgot. Sift it if you want, or just don't. Just want 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Of course I'm doubling it, so I'm putting 2 in. And a teaspoon of baking powder. The original recipe says about 3/4 of a cup of mashed Feijoa. Not only am I doubling the recipe, I'm probably going to put more than that in because it's just how I roll. No one uses these all up. See, this is where the kids would be handy. Chopping and mashing. I do all the boring stuff if I make it sound important enough. Now, as I'm doing the Feijoa Skin Muffins later, I'm just going to get a separate bowl. Put all the skins in. And if you are doing that, you just want to chop off the little end bits so they can just be discarded. So I had 4 small Feijoas and 1 big one in there. That's about just over 1 cup worth of puree, so I want 1 more cup for my double batch. Do it. A little bit more than 2 cups. That's fine. Don't mind overfruiting things. So I've still got Feijoas to use up. And just to this I want to add about 2 tablespoons of milk. And give it a wet up. Because I get to lick them. And there's a kid here. Looking and smelling yummy. There's some good stuff. Line these with baking paper. I'll try and look as coordinated as I can while dividing these into 2 bowls. It's not going to be very coordinated, I'm telling you now. Then I want to put these babies in a preheated oven, about 180 degrees Celsius for about 45 minutes, or until the skewer comes out nice and clean. And I'm going to lift the bowl. I've already blobbed down myself, but some days you just got to take me as I come. Sorry. I've been left with all the skins. Do not throw these babies out, I tell you. Now one thing with Feijoa skins is that You can freeze them, so if you are just eating Feijoas one by one, obviously you're not going to congregate the skins that quick. So you can freeze them, just stick them in a container and keep adding them until you've got enough. You need about 1 cup worth of pureed Feijoa skins for this, so I don't know, I'm just going to guess. I'm just going to puree it and see how much. These muffins, these have an awesome flavour. They are really, really tangy. They're like those tangy fruit lollies. Imagine that in like extreme Feijoa flavour. I'm just going to waste that. Just going to use this bowl and fingers crossed they don't go everywhere. It smells amazing. That looks, I'm not going to say what I think it looks like. I've got more than a cup there. This was about 16, I think, Feijoas. I did all together, 16, 17 Feijoas. Put that into a bowl. Maybe I'll do a double batch. I could do. It's almost a full 2 cups there. I'm going to do a double batch. We want about 100 grams of melted butter. Of course, I'm doubling it, aren't I? So 100 grams. Right, to that, we want to add 2 eggs. 2 eggs is literally all I've got at the moment because my chickens, right now, are a bunch of freeloaders. To this mix, we want 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. I just use the fake stuff. Quarter of a cup of brown sugar. I'll tell you a trick with brown sugar. If you ever accidentally leave the lid off or leave the bag slightly open, you know it goes absolutely rock hard. If you put a bit of apple in with it, or even just an apple core, stick it in the bag overnight, in the morning it will be nice and soft again. Trust me. Just chuck that in the bowl with the skins. That is still not looking any more appetising than what it started. Trust me, it's yummy. I want about 1 1/4 cups of flour. If I was really professional, I'd be sifting this, but some days, you know. Now is the time if you want to add any sort of spicy stuff in there. You want about 2 teaspoons of spices, like mixed spice is really good. Just going to see what I've got. I've got ginger and I've got cinnamon. So I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of each in. And we want 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I just remembered I'm doubling this. So I want 2 teaspoons of baking powder. My professionalism astounds me. Thank you to all those who remain subscribed, despite all of this. This is why I will never do a live show. Clint reckons I should do a live stream Q&A one day. You are joking, right? I need 4 eggs. Oh, what an idiot. I'll go visit my chickens, see if they happen to have laid at least 1 more egg for me. Okay, got 1 more egg. 1 chicken deserves a medal. But here is a trick. If you're doing some baking and you are short of an egg, replace it with half a mashed banana. You could also replace it with, I think it's 1/4 of a cup of oil. That can also be an egg replacement. I don't think anything really replaces it as well as an actual egg, but do what you gotta do. Especially when you've got a bunch of freeloaders. Hope they heard that. Just want to give that a good mix up. If you have muffin cups to put put in here, awesome. If not, you can just brush them with oil, but because I'm doing this for a video and I want to look good, even though I've already made a bit of a plonker of myself already, I haven't got muffin cups, but you can just use baking paper, which is basically a lot cheaper. Just cut it into squares, put it in. You just want to pop them in the oven, about 180 degrees, for, it should only take about 20 minutes, or until, you know, they look nice and firm. So, I will do that, and we'll see how they come out. Just pull those out of the oven, and then, and I've got my muffins in the oven at the moment as well, cooking. This house is smelling. One of these loaves cost me $1.60 to make, which is pretty cheap, especially when you consider if you do get the Feijoas for free, if you've got your own Feijoa plants, that'll only cost you 60 cents. Because of course I got those Feijoas for a cheap price. I mean, if you're buying them out of season or for a more expensive price at the supermarket, it'll cost more. But if you don't include the Feijoas, all the other ingredients together costs a grand total of 60 cents. That's pretty cheap. I've just pulled out tray number 1 from the oven. The second tray is in there. But they are looking and smelling absolutely yummy. And they just pop out. And of course, if you're over, you can just slip around there and they're fine. Actually, oh, look at that. Come out nice and easy. Yum. But yes, they'll be yummy yummy. I'm just going to leave them in the tray to cool off a bit. But the batch of 12 of these cost $1.72. So I mean, you know, you think about how much you pay. You'd pay at least that for a muffin if you're going out and about somewhere. And leave us a like, leave me a comment. All subscriptions are more than welcome. And yeah, until next time, have fun out there. What's the consensus, guys?